SB Twitch, the hood blogger. You already know how I carry it. Happy Thanksgiving to everybody out there, man. You know, I made sure I dropped a little treat for y'all today. I hope everybody out there enjoying their day, eating their turkey, their macaroni and cheese and all that with your family. And if you're not celebrating it, you know what I'm saying? I'm always a shoulder to lean on, man. It's the hood blogger. I'm still going to push the content, man. Everybody, you know, have a great day, man. But we're going to get into Ron Harvey Jr. and we're going to talk about, you know, them bodies and all of that Ron Harvey ended up going down for. And that's just how we carrying it, man. Happy Thanksgiving. Make sure y'all got your cups and all that in the air, man. Drop it in the comment. Let me know what y'all drinking on today. Philadelphia Black Mafia. A group of guys from the city of Philly that chose to do for self. And during this time, this was the time of the real mob era as far as the Italian mob. And anybody know about the history of the mob, we know definitely in Philly, out South Philly, you know, you had the Italian mob. So while the mob was making their way and doing what they felt as though they needed to do to be successful, and they were also looked at as polarized figures, it was a bunch of news press ads where you see them coming out with their nice suits on, they three pieces and all of that, walking around with their cigars. And they also had a lot of like law enforcement and stuff, local law enforcement under their belt. So basically it was a point in time where, you know, the mafia was running the streets, whether it was New York, Chicago, you know, Philly. And what I mean by running the streets, I don't mean the average corner hustlers and stuff like that. You know, they was targeting like unions and, you know, major extortion tactics. But as far as the mob, majority of them had certain rules and stuff that they abided by. But we got the Philadelphia Black Mafia that came in the game and did things their way, where they used a lot more force than the Italian Mafia, to the point it was shootouts with the cops randomly. You know, they didn't care. It was by any means necessary. And they was coming to get what they wanted, and nobody could stop them. So today we're going to talk about Ron Harvey. Ron Harvey was definitely a major enforcer for the Black Mafia. He didn't play no games. You ain't want to see Ron Harvey coming through your doorway. That was a guy who you wanted to be on his good side. They didn't play with, like I said, the cops, and they definitely didn't play if somebody owed them money or if somebody was a potential witness that was choosing to testify against them. Now, I'm not going to get into Ron Harvey full story, because when it comes to stories like this, you have to really dig deep and really get, you know, a lot of the information from, you know, those that's really connected and qualified to speak on it. But what I am about to talk about is, you know, one of the big cases that had Ron Harvey on the run. Now, you know, just to give y'all a briefer, you know, these guys were really connected as far as we talking about, you know, back when like Malcolm X and them was on the streets and all of that, and they had, you know, it was the temples and stuff was connected from Chicago to Philly, you know, and also like New York and stuff like that. So as I get into this story, y'all will see that, you know, Ron Harvey was, you know, not only running through the streets of Philly, but they was also able to spin out Chicago. The unity was crazy back then. But this is just to add on what happened as far as, you know, what led him to the indictment and everything like that. Although they were under the surveillance already, this one right here had put the icing on the cake. Ronald Harvey, identified by police as a prime suspect in the major Benjamin Coxon assassination last month, was held in Philadelphia on $125,000 bail Tuesday until a hearing can be held on his extradition to New Jersey. his lawyer vowed to fight the extradition. Common Plea Court's James Conver rejected the district's attorney demand that Harvey, 33 years old, of the 3300 block of 48th Street, be held on a $250,000 bail. He was identified by an eyewitness as a participant in that assassination, snapped Assistant DA William Connor, referring to the June 8th shooting in Coxon's home in Cherry Hill, New Jersey. Nauer did not identify the eyewitness. Coxon was killed after being bound and gagged by 4 intruders. 3 members of his family were seriously wounded, and a 13-year-old son escaped from the home. Leda Luby, 16-year-old daughter of Louis Luby, Coxon's girlfriend, died a week later after the shooting. Harvey, a stocky, deep-chested man, sat calmly out expressing. During the 45-minute hearing at City Hall, Nauer said Harvey has several open cases on his police record, including the charge of assault with intent to kill. There was a great risk this man would flee. He is a violent man, Connor argued, but the defense counsel, Nino Tenario, rebutted. Harvey's entire family is in Philadelphia. All his roots are in Philadelphia. He said Harvey worked in a fast food restaurant at Broad and South Street, and that he has not been convicted of any criminal charges since 1960. After Judge Conver set the bail at $125,000, the attorney said his client could not afford to post the 10% cash premium needed for his release. An extradition hearing was slated for July 27th. Meanwhile, a Camden grand jury formally handed down 11 indictments against Harvey in connections with the Coxon slayings. Officials said this would speed up Harvey's extradition. So basically, as we all hear, he had already had open cases. They was already, basically hot. So, during this time of them being investigated, it was a lot different back then as far as, the fingerprint process and bailing out. It's also stories out there, even like Sam Christian, getting out the system and everything. The system was so sweet back then. It wasn't how now where, they do the digital fingerprint and get you, hemmed up. Yeah, so basically what happened to Guy Crib that they allegedly went to, he was a witness. And this is why, the no snitching is very important. When you, even like they say civilians can snitch, I disagree depending on, what the civilian is telling about, you know what I mean? If an old lady or something, her purse or something gets snatched or something like that, yeah, that's one thing. But, if it's, if you're a civilian and you do see a group of guys that's active and they doing things, it's best to just mind your business. The no snitching rule and all of that, it just comes from when you are doing these things, you are putting your loved ones at risk. You never know, who you dealing with out here. And if you in the streets, you definitely shouldn't snitch. You know what I mean? That's just point blank, period. Even though times has changed a lot and they kind of regularized it, but these was the type of things that was happening when people did stuff like that. They put their families in danger because people that's real serious, they don't want no witnesses or nothing like that. So Harvey was arrested around June 28th in a connection with the Coxon slayings, but he was freed on bail in July 16th. When they basically thought that he wouldn't be able to get out or whatever, he definitely had got out. And actually his wife, Lucinda, had posted a bail for $17,000, and $500, which was the 10% of the $175,000. He was basically, he was forfeited to the city when, you know, Harvey, you know, he ain't go to court. You dig what I'm saying? Bailed out and go to court. He was still moving, you know, and eventually, as y'all know, you know, the Philadelphia Black Mafia, they had all ended up getting indicted and stuff like that. But Ron Harvey ended up passing away in prison. You know, he was basically serving his time and all of that. And you know, the story goes on. There's so many loops and stuff to this story, you know, and so many allegations. Like I said, this was one of the requests that I received in the DMs, man. I got at least 4 DMs speaking on the Ron Harvey situation. But, you know, like I said, when it comes to these stories, I give like increments of the story. And, you know, I'm looking forward and working behind scenes to, you know, connect the dots with, you know, people, family members, people that was close, to really give a deeper, in-depth story. Because, like I said, a lot of these things that are documented don't mean it's 100% accurate, man. But I definitely, you know, do my best to push it out there. I don't shoot from the hip. I don't speak about it unless I have the documentation, or if it's coming from immediate family or friends. But this SV Twiz, the Hood Blogger, I hope y'all enjoying y'all Thanksgiving and all of that. Drop a comment below. Like I said, let me know what y'all drinking, man. Let me know what y'all eating on and all of that. But other than that, y'all know how I carry it, man. Y'all can reach me on the gram at SV Twiz.